going on, guys? I'm Brian and welcome back to Playing Around. This is where we talk about gaming and nerdy stuff related, while I also have some gameplay going on in the background. So let's go ahead and get it started. And today's first story comes from IGN by Alex Osborne, and it reads, Netflix raises its monthly fee for its main plan. The price of Netflix's most popular plan has been raised to increased $1 from $8.99 to $9.99 a month in the United States. While the dollar increase won't affect existing customers until October of next year, new customers will already see this increase. On Twitter, they confirmed it. It says, so we can bring more great content to users. The price for the 2-stream is going from $8.99 to $9.99 for new members. That's pretty much it. I don't mind this at all. I feel like I don't use Netflix enough, but when I do, it's for these big shows, especially Netflix-only shows that I really enjoy watching, like Daredevil, House of Cards, of course, Orange is the New Black, and one of my personal, really big favorites is Bloodlines. I love that show. I wish that show was a bigger hit when it came out. Glad that we're still getting a season 2. And I hope more and more people tune in for that show, so that show can go on for a long, long time. Love that show. But dollar increase, well, for me it won't be until next October anyways, but I think it's worth it. You know, they seem to be putting out more and more quality content, and I think they can justify for it in that way alone. I think if this would have happened a couple years ago, it wouldn't have been worth it, but now I don't see a problem with it. So, that's about all I got to say about that. If you were keen on getting Netflix before, this might change your mind and go elsewhere, but I think it's still worth it, honestly. I can't wait for Jessica Jones to come out next month, I believe. So, there you go there. Our next story is coming from GameSpot, and it details the minimum and recommended requirements for Fallout 4. And this story is written by Tamar Hussein, and it reads, Bethesda has revealed the minimum and recommended PC requirements needed to run Fallout 4. It is additionally said you'll require between 28 and 35 gigabytes of storage space on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 to install the game. The exact size depends on the territory and languages supported. Okay, minimum requirements for PC. Windows 7, 8, or 10, 64-bit OS required. Intel Core i5 2300, 2.8 GHz, AMD Phenom 2 X4 945, 3.0 GHz or equivalent, 8 GB of RAM, 30 GB of free hard drive space, NVIDIA GTX 550 Ti 2 GB / AMD Radeon HD 780 or 7870 2 GB or equivalent. Now the recommended: Windows 7, 8, 10, 64 OS required, Intel Core i7 4790 3.6 GHz or AMD FX 9590 4.7 GHz or equivalent, Again, 8 gigabytes of RAM. Again, 30 gigabyte free of hard drive space. And NVIDIA GTX 780 3 gigabytes or AMD Radeon R9 290X 4 gigabyte or equivalent. Furthermore, Bethesda has said Fallout 4 will unlock digitally at 12:01 a.m. in local time in all territories. In North America, the unlock time will be 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time. In Asia, it will be available at 12:01 a.m. on Tuesday, November 11th, while Japanese players will be getting their adventure from 12 a.m. on Thursday, December 17th. Bethesda has also announced the Pip-Boy edition of the game, which will also include a perk poster. What's going on here? Which you can take a look at below. Oh, and this is it. It's a neat poster. Alright. So that's that. PC players who are excited to play some Fallout 4, now you know what requirements you need to meet. And let's skip around here to a Destructoid story that came out today. I love Destructoids. Destructoid's a really nice site. And this one is written by Kyle McGregor. It reads, Star Ocean 2 coming to PS4 and Vita very soon. ... in Japan. As Square Enix promised at the Tokyo Game Show in December, Star Ocean Second Evolution is coming to PlayStation 4 and Vita in the near future, sometime this month in Japan. Based on the PSP remake of the PS1 original, this version will include a few enhancements, including a new opening theme, improved visuals and sound, and downloadable content. That last one isn't much of an enhancement, but it is definitely new and unique to this iteration. A localized release for Western audiences have not been announced at this time. This is interesting. A lot of people think this is probably the best Star Ocean for the PS1 era. Maybe even the best Star Ocean of all time. So it is coming out in Japan. I imagine this will eventually make its way over here. Just probably not this month or this year. But I'm sure they're trying their hardest to bring it to the US as well. So, with that being said, we'll go ahead and jump back on IGN, and this one is a bit of a shocker. I can't believe this was said, but once it gets loading, I can't believe it has to load. Alright, this one is written by Alex Osborne, and the headline is Xbox boss acknowledges PS4's huge lead. Unsure if Xbox One can catch up. It reads, head of Xbox Phil Spencer is unsure as to whether or not Microsoft will be able to catch up to Sony's huge lead with PlayStation 4, thanks in large part to Xbox One's rough start. You know, I don't know, Spencer replied at a 2015 GeekWire summit. When asked whether or not Xbox One will be able to surpass PS4. You know, the length of the generation, he continued, Sony has made a huge lead and they have a good product. I love the content, the games lineup that we have. With regard to why Microsoft has so much ground to gain, the Xbox boss continued, one thing that probably I didn't realize as much as I should have when I started in this role was the impact that the launch had on our team here. The Xbox team, because it's easy to read the blogs and sites and my Twitter feed and see what the customers think of our brand and our product, but the team in Redmond took as much of a hit as the external community did around the launch. Spencer went on to cite, with the addition of backwards compatibility as a major step forward in reclaiming support from the gaming community, as Microsoft's focus isn't necessarily about beating the competition, but rather about winning over consumers. So I would never question the ability of our organization, but I will say we're not motivated by beating Sony, we're motivated by gaining as many customers as we can, he added. Do you think there is time for Microsoft to catch up to Sony? That's just what they asked at the end of the article. But a very good question to ask. Anyways, what do you guys think of this? I necessarily don't think it's impossible for Xbox to catch up, and especially with Sony at the end of this year not really having a strong lineup of games besides Uncharted and Nathan Drake collection, and some would say Until Dawn. I have yet to play it, but apparently that's a sleeper hit. I don't see it outside of the realm of possibilities. I see this as more of a flip side of last generation, where Xbox had such a huge lead, and then near the end of it, it kind of evened out. PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 are kind of sold the same amount. PS3 might have even overtook them at one point, but I don't think the lead is so huge that Xbox couldn't catch up. Do I want them to catch up? Me being a Sony fanboy, no, honestly, but competition is what keeps companies going, so if that is to happen, I'd be interested in seeing what Sony would do to try to retake position again. So, that being said, very interesting story, and Phil Spencer, even if you don't like Xbox or whatever, I mean, I'm not hating on Xbox, but Phil Spencer's a great guy. He is one of the greats in the gaming industry, so there's that. And the next article we have for today is from GameSpot. This one is by Chris Pereira. And it reads, how Call of Duty Black Ops 3 changed due to the beta feedback. This is a beta I was unfortunately not able to be a part of because I was out on family matters, so it kind of sucks. Don't know if I'll really be playing any Black Ops 3. Kind of getting burnt out on the futuristic shooter, first-person shooter games. Really, really wish they would go back and do some more World War II shooter. I think it would be awesome if they made another World War II shooter. But anyways, the article reads, while beta tests are often nothing more than a glorified demo or a network stress test, it appears Call of Duty Black Ops 3's was more meaningful for developer Treyarch. The studio today outlined a number of ways the game's multiplayer mode is changing as a result of the beta feedback. Excuse me. In a PlayStation blog post, design director David Vonderhaar highlighted 10 such adjustments that will be in place for the game's launch. While these aren't major alterations to its design, many of them sound like changes for the better. Chief among them, the black hat hacking mechanic that has been changed. It now takes longer to steal a score streak, particularly the higher end ones. And the game will now do a better job of alerting players of when this is occurring. Hackers will also be called out on the map, making them easier targets. A new limit has been put in place to reduce the amount of flinching that happens when aiming down the sights of a weapon and being shot at. Vonderhaar said the flinch effect was allowed to stack during the beta, and while flinching hasn't been removed entirely, it will now be within tighter constraints to keep you closer to your aim. The rejack ability, allowing certain character classes to immediately revive, has also been adjusted. Anyone who kills someone using rejack is now credited with the kill. and any score streak progress the rejack user has made will be reset. In other words, rejack will not allow players to achieve high-end score streaks even after they've died. Other changes, more feedback to let you know you're hitting and have killed enemies, concussion grenades, stun players for one less second, escorting the robot in safeguard provides plus 25 score every 3 seconds, and the kill cam offers more information such as the weapons and the equipment your killer was equipped with. You can see the full list. Call of Duty's Black Ops Beta was available in August. It is releasing November 6th for PS4, Xbox One, PC, Xbox 360, and PS3, which those last two only get the multiplayer and no single player. So there you go, some changes to Black Ops 3. Are you guys excited for Black Ops 3? I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Like I said, I don't know if I'll be playing it or not. And oops, did I do something wrong? Oh. And the last story, once it loads, comes to us from Destructoid again, and it is written by Chris Carter, and it says, "Don't expect to see any more Game Boy games on the 3DS Virtual Console." And right under it, it has a little side header that says "lame," which I do agree with too. That's really funny. Wow, this sucks. But let's read the article. Nintendo is generally pretty guarded when it comes to the inner workings of the Virtual Console service, but publisher Natsume has been incredibly open, dishing out insight time and time again over the past few years. This time it is enlightening us regarding Game Boy games on the 3DS, noting on Twitter that Nintendo has moved on from Game Boy games. If it's a Natsume game not out now, it's not coming. Yep, according to the company, Game Boy is done as Nintendo has presumably shifted over to a focus on Game Boy Advance titles. It's weird though, since 3DS is such a cash cow, you would assume that Nintendo would give publishers the keys to the kingdom, so to speak. I'll never understand the business strategy it has utilized with the Virtual Console in general. A slow, painful, deep feed. Can you imagine how enticing the Virtual Console would be if Nintendo just opened up its entire library on it for, say, $10 a month by way of temporary downloads that expire after your sub lapses? It would be like PlayStation Now, but good. That's funny. People can argue that PlayStation Now, I don't use it as a subscription service, nor have I used it even as a singular service, but I think he makes up a good point. If they opened up all of the Virtual Console and put out all of their previous games on it and charge 10, 15, I think you could even go higher than $10 a month. I think you could go $15 a month and get away with it. That would probably even get someone like me who's kind of been out of the Nintendo handheld business for a long time. I haven't played a Nintendo handheld since Game Boy Advance, so I would love to go back and play old Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. But looks like they're moving away from Game Boy games, which is unfortunate and pretty odd. But I believe that was the last story of the day. That was the last story of the day. So thank you so much for watching another episode of Playing Around. I'm Brian Poteet. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll put that down below. Also, check out my Patreon at patreon.com/FoxhoundSoldier. I hope you guys enjoyed the Star Wars Battlefront gameplay today. I played a little bit of the beta, and I wanted to give you guys a break from MGO for today. And I'll probably be bringing back some MGO tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Monday rather. And if you guys want to play some MGO with me, go ahead and friend me on the PlayStation Network. I'm at Foxhound Soldier there as well. Give me a friend invite and I'll accept you, and we'll play some MGO together. That's about all I can think of right now, so thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Have a great day.